What do you say to those who say it's political payback that you exempt cops and firefighters since you got the endorsement of the Milwaukee unions and the Troopers Association?
I think that's utterly ridiculous because if I was, I'd only carve out those areas. The statewide police union, the statewide firefighter union endorsed my opponent. If I was rewarding political allies, it would be ridiculous to exempt them if that was the reason. The fact of the matter is we did it because it's a long-standing tradition. It's based on the fact that we expect, we have different expectations for our fire and police professionals. And I think long before I was here, there was an expectation that there could never be a gap in service when it comes to fire and police protection in the state. And we're making sure that that is something we can safely tell the residents of the state of Wisconsin will continue.
Why not Capitol Police? Why not exempt them?
Because in terms of the contingency plans that we have, they're based on interaction with local governments. The State Patrol does that, as well as our local fire and police department.
Why not exempt the state police, i.e. DOJ, special agents, forensic analysts, DNR wardens, who arguably handle some of the largest cases that the state deals with?
Again, it goes back to contingency plans and how we work forward the plans that we've set out that were there and that we've enhanced over the last couple of months. But for us, remember, I mean, the key here is that we plan for the worst case scenario, but I have every expectation that every one of our state employees are going to continue to show up and do the great professional job that they do. This is not taking away civil service rights. This is not altering employment. This is making changes in terms of the collective bargaining process so that we can accurately and effectively get the sort of modest changes we're talking about when it comes to health care and pension contributions. But we're not fundamentally altering working conditions and other things of that nature. And again, I have every expectation these are good, decent, professional individuals. They're going to continue to be good, decent, professional individuals working for the state and local government.
How quickly will this happen?
What's that?
How quickly will this happen? How quickly will it go through legislation?
I briefed both majority caucuses yesterday. I made contact with and then briefed again today both minority leaders of the Assembly and the Senate. I briefed local government officials last night. I briefed the superintendent of public instruction, the university system, and others. And I'm going to introduce the bill today at 10:30. We will extend the special session per the request of the legislative leadership, figuring that was the easiest way to move this forward. And my hope is that the legislative leaders will start acting on this early next week. It's really imperative because it really ties in to the biennial budget I'll be introducing on the 22nd of this month.
In the biennial budget, what do you plan to do about badger care?
If there's a badger care, I'll be giving briefings about that. This bill doesn't have any impact on that, nor does it do anything, despite what was reported the other day in terms of senior care. But we'll be talking about that. We'll be briefing closer to the 22nd on components of the biennial budget.
Have time for just a couple of quick more questions.
Governor, you campaigned and won on, cutting public worker benefits. What do you say to critics who are saying you didn't campaign on rolling back, mini bargaining rights?
For us, this all ties in together. You cannot, the state level, when you have on average over the past decade a 15-month delay in negotiation, there's no way we can wait that long and hope that we get this. I don't think there's any person alive in this state, particularly any person who works for the government, who didn't know all throughout the campaign, during the transition, and now what I expect when it comes to pension and health care contributions. Unless you were in a coma for the last 2 months or the last 2 years, everybody else was clear as to where I was headed with that. Having said that, because of the delay and the fact that we can't build a budget on something that's uncertain, but equally, if not of greater importance, we can't build a budget on the interaction and reforming the interplay between state and local government on the hope that every jurisdiction, we know there'll be some that are more likely to get than others, can't have the same ability to control their own destiny when it comes to local government's budgets. So this is imperative to make sure that that relationship between state and local government is strong. We've got to give them the tools to do that. And again, this is something that, unless someone's been asleep or out of the country, I don't think should be a shock to anybody. It would be a shock, frankly, I think to most residents in the state, if I stood here today and told you I wasn't going to do.
Why not with union leaders?
Because I don't think negotiate. Good faith negotiation requires give and take. We are broke in this state. We've been broke for years. People have ignored that for years, and it's about time somebody stood up and told the truth. truth is, we don't have money to offer. We don't have finances to offer. This is what we have to offer. And if you're going to negotiate, you got to have something to offer. We don't have something. So we're laying it out on the table. I think anybody who's watched me from the years I was in previous office and the time I campaigned, it was pretty simple. I identify the problem, I tell you what I think the solution is, and then I do. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Got time for one more quick one? Can you get this to the Senate?
Yes, I have no doubt both the Assembly and the Senate understand just how significant this is. They understand that this is not just some litmus test. This is ultimately saying we have a choice. We can do this, or we can see thousands of public sector employees laid out. I don't think anybody in this state, whether they work in government or not, wants any more people in this state laid off. To me, this is a much better alternative. And I think when people have time to digest what the true consequences are here, I have no doubt that both the Assembly and the Senate will pass this quickly in preparation for the next state budget. Thanks very much.